Hi everybody, Derek Christensen here. I'm the owner of Legion Law, a premier estate planning and probate firm in Dallas, Texas. Today I wanted to talk about how much money you can make as an executor of an estate in Texas. But before I dive into that, I wanted to let you know how to reach out to me. You can find me in my email, Derek Christensen, or no, that's not right. Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawplc.com, or you can find me on my website, www.legionlawplc.com. So with that, let's dive right in. So this is an interesting topic because executors do a lot. They also can do very little, and it really just depends on the circumstance. So many people are excited to be an executor because they think, oh great, I can control everything, I can make sure everything happens the way I want, and I have influence and blah, blah, blah. And some of that calculation might also be, I get paid, and I'm going to make some money off of this too. That's one way to think about it. The other way is to think about it how this is a burden, you don't really want to do it, and this is annoying paperwork that you got to take care of, so at least something's coming your way, because otherwise this would be just burdensome. And to make sure everybody's on the same page, the executor doesn't always get to be a beneficiary. So, in other words, I could be the executor of my best friend's estate, and I could be in charge of giving everything to his wife. And that's it. And I'm not getting anything. I'm not receiving any assets. So all that influence and power and gravitas is nothing. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So at least some compensation will happen. Most of the time, we're going to follow what the will says. And the will usually just says, we're good. We're good with compensation and make it reasonable and fair or whatever. If that's the case, then the executor is allowed to receive up to 5% of the gross value of the estate as they commit financial transactions. So that's a little bit important to understand because it's not just, hey, 5% of the estate goes in your pocket immediately. It is, you can charge by the hour up until you reach 5% of the value of the estate if that part of the estate was financially transact? Anyways, if you move things around, you can get payment on it. So the moving things around is the kind of the important part, because if the asset is already in a bank account, you don't need to move it. It just stays there, and then you just transfer it from bank account to the beneficiary. So if I have 3 children and I'm taking care of I'm trying to distribute assets to them. If the assets are already all together, then I can't charge, a fee on that, or I can't charge by the hour for that. Well, technically you could, but either way, the action has to happen where I'm transferring it from a brokerage account to a trust account, then from the trust account to the kids or like whatever else. But if we already have those assets already together in one big pile and we just need to send it out once, that doesn't count. So that's important to know, because if you receive compensation as an executor, you actually receive more liability under Texas law. Texas says that if you don't receive any compensation, if you mess things up, you're not as in trouble as you are if you do receive compensation, which is a very interesting aspect of Texas law. So there are a bunch of laws that regulate executors, how much they get in trouble if they do, fraudulent or erroneous things. And they get in more trouble if they get compensation than if they don't. So sometimes people would just flat out waive the fee and they just do it for free. They don't want to get paid. They just want to help out because that's the right thing to do in their view. Other people, again, can get paid up to 5% of the transactions that they undertake, 5% of the estate's value. So that's kind of how that works. It's a little ambiguous. It doesn't often come up, and it's not that big of a deal for most people. Most of the times, all is well, but that is what it is. Additionally, there's one last note. If you are a professional and you're an executor, if you're undertaking professional actions, then you can charge your professional fee to the estate. However, if you're undertaking executor actions, then you are not allowed to charge your professional fee. You have to charge your executor fee up to 5% and all that stuff I just mentioned. So me as an attorney, if I'm going to be the executor of my parents' estate, then I could charge technically my parents' estate for me drafting deeds, for me drafting a new trust and reforming things on legal documents, but gathering assets, transferring them to my brothers and sisters, all that stuff, that's an executor thing, so I can't charge my professional fee on that front. So It's complicated, is the answer. And honest to goodness, you have the right as a beneficiary to ask for an accounting of all the estate. And the accounting is really just a summary of what happened. Where did assets go? How much were they valued? And part of that accounting is going to be the fees that the executor charged. So you can see if they were overcharging. And honest to goodness, it's really not that big of a deal if they go 6%, they go 4%, whatever. But if they're going 25%, then that's a completely different story. So just keep an eye out on that. But if you think that there's foul play, then you have every right as a beneficiary to make sure it's done correctly by the executor and they're not overcharging the estate. But on the other hand, as the executor, you're entitled to some money. You know, it's not easy job being an executor, so you absolutely should undertake that. So either way, that's kind of how it works in Texas. It's a little muddy. It's as clear as mud, right? But at the end of the day, if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me. You can email me directly, Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at legionlawpllc.com, or you can go to my website where you can schedule a free consultation over the phone directly onto my calendar at www.legionlawpllc.com. So with that, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.